Hello, everyone. Welcome. Just going to give people an opportunity to come on in. Hello, Omar. I'm very well. Hello, MJK. Hi, Zane. Zany. Just giving people an opportunity to get on in. So far, we have 12 people in. Thank you. I like the robe too. Jordan is quite a ways away. Most definitely, Omar. Of course, I'm having some technical difficulties with other people trying to get in. Oh, they got it. Nice. Okay. Looks like we're going to be all right. Thank you. Hello, Adela. Hi, Daniela. And we have Lexi and Zany and Tasha and Paula's. So we have about 16 people so far, and I'm going to let's give them 4 more minutes. How's that? That gives everybody a nice 10 minutes in order to get in the room. Okay. You want me to give a shout out to Omar? What is it? Omar Talal. Omar Talal. Hello, Omar. Danny, it's all right. Don't worry about missing the cam show. There's always another one. Hi, Amy. Was it easy to get in, everybody? Easy to find it? Good. I'm glad that's easy. Hi, Brittany. Hi, Kirsty. Hello, Alonzo. Everything nice in Mexico City right now? Thanks to Tasha, it was easy. Good. Just a couple more minutes. Not quite 1 minute. 1 minute, and we will start the live erotic reading. Is it blurry? Let me see. I'll make sure and get it cleaned up before we start. See how that works. You see plenty of me, Kirsty. There. Get this back to being a little more even. All right. Well, it is 6:40. Hello. How are you, Indini? All right, everybody. It is time for our live reading. Hello, Sarah. Lovely that you could make it. So glad everybody's figuring out this YouTube thing because it's the first time that I've been using it. And I know it's supposed to be not confusing, but it is a little bit for me. In any case, today is exciting. It's the first thing that we're going to do to help promote my new venture, which is womenbyjuliaann.com. It's exciting because, as far as I can tell, it's the first, and I've been told it's the first side of its kind where it bridges the gap between everyday life for women and sex. So I figured there was a lot of stuff out there already that was very sex oriented, or there was stuff out there for women that was beauty oriented, or if there was stuff out there for women that was wellness oriented. But there really wasn't something out there I could find that gave a little bit of everything. whether it was sex or cooking or yoga. Um, so I'm hoping that today's live reading are audio erotica, which is something we also have on Women by Julia Ann. It's going to be a little bit fun, and hopefully everybody enjoys it, and it's just a little bit of taste of something into the new site. So in any case, let's get started. My audio erotica or I should say, since I'm on camera this time, but my live erotic reading is going to be called The Tavern Wench. And it was something written for me by a girlfriend of a friend. She remains anonymous, so that's just how we keep it. But it's a lot of fun. The audio erotica version of it is already up on the website, and so I'm going to give you a little taste of what we do on womenbyjuliaann.com. The Tavern Wench by Anonymous. Faster, wench! It was only by the thinnest of margins that I kept my face from hitting the wooden floor. I resisted the temptation to rub my ass, convinced that I would have a huge footprint on it from the idiot behind me. I gathered up the coins that he had thrown across the table for his ale, and holding as much dignity as I could, I made my way to the bar to fetch it. Look lively, girl. The landlord leant across the bar and yanked open my blouse to reveal more cleavage, like I already wasn't hanging out of it. Rent's due every week without fail. You can't pay it? Out you go. With a shove, he sent me back to the table with the ale. Sighing to myself and resigned to an evening of groping and vulgar suggestions about climbing someone's masthead, life as a tavern wench next to the ports has its disadvantages. I sloshed the mugs down on the table, surprised that I hadn't felt a hand on my breast as I leaned over. What a view, lads? Reckon the captain would let her on board. We need a new deck scrubber. There were cheers all around, and I looked over to see what the view was about. And wow, what a view. The girl cleaning the floor was either unaware or unconcerned that every time she scrubbed forward, she displayed her treasures for all the world to see. The ugliest of the drunks moved across the table, and to the delight of his crew, grabbed himself a handful. Faster than you could think possible, the girl whirled around, punched him clean in his face, knocking him back in his seat. Unfortunately, he knocked his ale over and most of it landed on me. This blouse was revealing enough before it was soaked. My nipples were poking through, woken by the cold beer and the colder night air. And I apologize. And you said I couldn't make you wet. He roared with laughter at his own joke. Time for beds, lads. How he made it to his feet was a mystery to me. These men were all alike. 12 months at sea, and they had to spend everything they made in one night on cards, women, and ale. He grabbed the young girl round the waist and threw her over his shoulder. She looked terrified. I can't imagine why. This is what we do. This is our job. We chose this. Seems a little late to back out now. But call me soft-hearted. Well, that, and I might have figured if I saved her from his clutches tonight, I might be able to sample a little of that treasure myself. I grabbed the empty glasses from the table, and as he walked past, I kicked the bucket of water in his way. Things went a little chaotic then. She went flying. He slipped on the soapy water and landed hard, knocking himself unconscious while his friends could hardly breathe for laughing so hard. I saw the landlord grab the girl by the arm, telling her that rent was due tomorrow one way or another. She shook off his arm and spat on the floor by his feet before she rushed upstairs. Feisty little thing. My nipples got quite hard again as I went to follow her. There was a hand on my arm, not harsh, but commanding. I looked over, expecting to be assaulted with another unwashed sailor. "Do you have a room here?" he asked. Wow, he has all his teeth. Best to be nice to this one. "Upstairs, follow me." I gave him my most beguiling smile, and running my hands over his chest, I whispered in his ear how much this evening would cost him. I ran my hands lower over his groin as a last trick to make him oblivious to what he was agreeing to. Hard as a rock. I smiled again, partly through greed, and partly 'cause I knew I was going to be riding that hard cock in a matter of minutes. And after the week I had, I needed it. Besides, the rent's due tomorrow. I laughed out loud at that, though I'm sure no one else was going to find it funny. I looked at my evening's entertainment. 25, 30 maybe, washed and all well dressed, very handsome and tanned. Probably from one of those merchant ships. Better class altogether. We moved him into my room, and I decided to get a better look at him. It was fast and furious. I barely had the door closed when I felt one of his strong hands snake across my breast, and then his other hand snake up my skirt. His mouth was on my neck, and I felt his soft tongue doing circles before he latched on and started sucking like he was serious. Eager little fucker, isn't he? But then I got a good look at myself from a full-length mirror that was propped up against a bureau. Oh. Loose blonde hair in disarray, perfect pink lips that were parted and panting, half-closed eyes that were clouded by desire, a bunched-up skirt exposing bare buttocks, and two bountiful breasts that were heaving and straining for freedom from their confinement. Well, one breast anyway. He had already freed one of them, and by the looks of it, the other one was about to be next. Oops. There it goes. After having a brief look at our reflection, I really couldn't blame the bloke. I looked nasty as hell. I mean, no wonder he was eager. I do me. I turn quickly and melt into his arms. He groans with appreciation as I grind myself against his groin. He kisses me roughly and then pulls me onto the bed with him. It creaked as we landed on top. And soon we find ourselves naked as his nimble fingers removed all of our clothing. After what seemed like an eternity of kissing and fondling, rubbing and nibbling, I pulled myself away from his embrace and crawled, gasping, to the foot of the bed. He looked at me with confusion on his face, and I smiled seductively at his predicament. He looks at me with sorry about that. Let me do that again. He looks at me with confusion on his face, and I smile seductively at his predicament, which was hard and at full mass between his rather muscular legs. Yeah. You don't like that, do you? Well, neither do I. And even though I'm all about the holding and the kissing and the tender little nibbles, well, sometimes a girl just needs to get fucked. Help me out here, sailor. See, the fast and furious had turned into the slow and tedious, and I wasn't about to let that happen. Not tonight, anyway. I pulled myself upright onto my knees and began to pleasure myself. Maybe he's been out to sea too long. I don't know. But he was about to get a refresher course. I looked him in the eyes as my hand moved directly to my pussy. I spread my lips with my fingers, dipped them inside, slid them onto my clit, and then shoved them quickly inside me again. I picked up a steady rhythm and began fucking myself as he watched me. I let my other hand slide up my body and attach itself to a nipple. I pinched and pulled and began to breathe heavily. I let my eyes travel down his body to his twitching cock, and then I let them roam back up again. He's either a quick study or he's just a copycat, because his hand began pumping his cock with his fist. Okay. I've only got 2 words to say about that. Good boy. Rock hard and ready. He spits into his hand and works his saliva onto his raging member. It was a beautiful sight to see. He strokes the base and pinches the head, softly before stroking it even faster than before. He spit, and his pre-cum were making it sticky, but I had no problem with that. I was about to give him a tongue bath. I keep my eyes on the target and drop to all fours, crawling my way over to my prize. I looked at it closely, amazed by its hardness yet silky soft texture of his skin. His hand slows down, and he points his manhood at me, my lips already waiting and parted. I take the tip into my mouth and suckle it a bit, then run my tongue over his eye hole. I look up at him from underneath my lashes. He was already a handsome man, with sun-kissed skin and gorgeous white teeth, but now he was simply to die for. There's just something animalistic about a man when he's getting his dick sucked. I open my mouth and allow all of his silky softness inside. His cock is both hard and smooth at the same time, and I feel the length of it twitch against the sides of my throat. He begins thrusting his hips, and I try not to gag as he holds my head and skull fucks me. After a few teary moments, my gag reflexes relax, and he begins to fuck my mouth in earnest. I reach up with one hand to play with his nipple, as my other hand reaches down for his balls. But I'm not going to suck him off. I wanted to get fucked, remember? No, this was just to make sure that I had his complete attention. My mouth may have it now, but it was actually my pussy that was screaming and demanding and damn near throwing a hissy fit tantrum. I take both hands and hold the shaft by his balls as I slowly pull his cock from my throat. I lick the length and slowly shove it back in. I do this a few times, licking and shoving, with my throat opening and closing each time. Finally, I pull it out and give the head a few sucks before sliding my way up his body. I allow my breast to nestle his cock briefly, and then quickly move up higher to kiss him. Our tongues mesh and mingle, and I feel his hands on my butt, kneading and spreading my ass cheeks. I moan softly and bite at his lips, drawing his bottom one between mine. He lets me play for a while, and then I continue my way up, stopping to let him suck roughly on my nipples. I shudder as he holds one between his front teeth while curving the tongue around it, alternating between licking and sucking and swirling it back and forth. I wonder if I should let him eat me. He's obviously pretty good at it. Can't say that many men are. Okay, change of plans. His grunt of displeasure turns instantly to delight as I tear my nipple from his mouth and move it to replace it with my pussy. He slides lower on the mattress as my thighs straddle his face, while I continue upwards to grab hold of the headboard with both hands. I groan as his tongue finds my clit. I throw my head back with abandon and move against his mouth. His lips, his tongue, his teeth. I bounce a little to get more contact. After minutes of this, I can't take it anymore and slide back down his body to kiss him. I can feel his hot cock throbbing near my pussy, ready, and I angle myself so he can slip it inside me. We both groan as it slides in. I can feel the length of his cock invading me, filling me, claiming me, and he can feel my walls gripping his cock in return, welcoming him, wanting him, needing him. He begins thrusting into me and kissing me passionately, his hard cock going deeper into my hole. He takes my hand and places it against my pussy, urging my fingers to my clit. Then he takes both of his and starts playing with my nipples, pulling and tweaking and rubbing each nipple with his fingertips. He may not know my name, but he's definitely got my number. And now I've got 3 words to say about that. Very good boy. He leans up to suck on my nipple as he continues to pound into me. I move my hips up and down and grab onto his head, smashing his face against my breasts. I finger my clit as he fucks me and sucks me, knowing it's merely moments away by the sound of his breathing and moaning. Or was that me? Doesn't matter. We're both close, and I can feel a tingle beginning to surface, making my flesh start to goosebump, and the fine blonde hairs stand up on my skin. I grab his hair and yank his head back to look up at me. His eyes are half closed and his lips are a bit puffy, but it only makes him look sexier. I lower my mouth to kiss him as I continue to ride his cock. Everybody enjoying this so far? Are you sure? Should I keep going? Just kidding. He's thrusting and groaning, and I'm fingering and moaning, and soon find ourselves reaching the exact same place at the exact same time. I shudder as I feel it rip through me, causing me to tremble and quake all at once. My pussy grabs onto his manhood, contracting and clenching and milking him for all that it's worth. He groans into my mouth as he releases himself inside me, a steady stream of sticky goodness that seems to go on forever. He finally spasms and pulls himself out, a dribble of semen spilling free from my pussy as he does it. I take his cock in my hand and rub the tip tenderly, coating my palm with his cum. A live event with me would not be complete if I didn't have a dog barking. Just saying. Okay. Let's see. He jerks gently and pulls away, sighing. He seems suddenly torn about something. I look up at him from the bed. He was putting his clothes on and trying to casually count out the coins to leave behind. I'm sorry to leave so abruptly. My ship heads out at first light with the tide. We have a large shipment of goods to take east. They are quite priceless. We need to be away before anybody knows what we are carrying. He leaned over to put the coins on the table to the side of the bed. Thank you. It was fun. Perhaps we will meet again. I smile at him, a full-on shit-eating grin. Oh, I'm sure we will. He left then, and I settled down to sleep. It was going to be an early start. It must have been around 5 p.m. when the cannon started going off. People were screaming. Debris was flying everywhere. It was utter chaos. I pulled the trunk out from under the bed where it had laid hidden all week and began to dress. The scene that greeted me as I moved down the stairs was bedlam. The inn's clientele was shoved into a corner while the landlord was handing over the week's takings to a large man with no teeth, one eye, and a large musket pointed at his chin. Get a move on. It's rent due day. I laughed at his shocked expression as I walked across the floor. I must have looked a sight. Last night I wore a peasant skirt with a ripped blouse and bare feet. Today I was back in my old clothes. Leather boots, silk pants, lace blouse, and a rather fetching hat that I stole from a drunken pirate. The man guarding the prisoners tipped his hat as I approached. Captain Julia Ann, the ship is waiting just past the reef as you ordered. The black flag flies, and all leave us alone. I just bet they do. Where's my first mate? Here, Captain. I looked over to see Montague walking towards me. I never understood why you do this, ma'am. So I never forget, Monty. Never take for granted what I have. There but for the grace of God and all that. Besides, I rather like the distraction. I smiled wickedly. How many can we kill, Captain? The one-eyed man by the landlord shouted over. I laughed at his terrified expression. Kill 'em all. That'll teach 'em. There was a shout of approval at my words, and I caught sight of a pair of blue eyes glaring daggers at me from where the prisoners were. Oh, this was too good. Except that one. I pointed to the arrogant young girl I had met the night before. We have a little unfinished business. Have her taken to my quarters and given anything she needs. Let it be known amongst the crew that she is my guest and will be treated as such. I glared at my men to make a point. They knew I wouldn't tolerate disobedience. The girl spat on the floor as she walked past me, and I laughed out loud. She really was the most delightful heathen. I would enjoy taming her. I walked out of the inn towards the rising sun. My ship sat regally out past the reefs. Where to now, Captain? Montague asked. There is a merchant ship sailing east today. They left much earlier, but we should be able to catch them no trouble. There's someone on board I want to catch up with. I flashed him my best devilish smile, and we headed towards the boats. The end. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. Do we wonder what's going to happen with that girl, Captain Julia? Maybe someday we'll find out. I hope you enjoyed it. And yes, for anything more that you want to know, go ahead and check out Women by Julia Ann. You do have to be 18 and over. There is sexually explicit material on it, but there's a lot of other stuff as well. So, come be a part of the community. And, I don't know. I hope to see you all very soon. And for all my people that are out there that haven't checked it out yet, you really should. You really should. We have a great group so far, and it's only going to get better. So, bye.